music with kind of along, because it's so beautiful, a piece by Massenet from Thais, and it's a meditation. And I had a violinist staying with me because I'm doing a Messiah, and she's excellent. So I said, "Oh, would you mind playing something with me?" And I'm just going to improvise a third part. So if you hear weird notes, it's me going into my zone. This is Massenet.
Thank you, Jackie. Jackie Robbins, you are wonderful. Good morning. Welcome to the Treasure Coast Unitarian Universalist Congregation in Stuart, Florida. Today is December 19th, 2021. My name is Janet Grote, and I'm your worship associate today. The solstice and the celebrations which have evolved from it is coming up, so I wish you a Merry Christmas. We are a welcoming congregation. We welcome people of all gender identities, races, ages, and backgrounds. Hello, YouTubers. There you are, YouTubers. Hello. It's wonderful to see all our vaccinated members in the sanctuary. To be put on our email list or to find out more information about us, go to our website at tcuuc.org. You'll get announcements in our Friday online newsletter. Visitors, if you're comfortable, please step forward to the microphone and introduce yourself. Anyone comfortable? Good, here he comes. Yes, right there.
Good morning. My name is Dennis J., and I'm a guest of John Cook and his wife, Judy. I'm visiting the area for the very first time, and I met those two at the Annapolis UU Church many, many years ago, and it's delightful to be with you all today. Thank you.
Wow, welcome. Mark your calendars for a little party after church on January 2nd. We'll go into Heston Hall and brainstorm together. What can we do to grow? The world has changed. What do you think we should be doing? We will listen to each other. Let's start 22 right and give it our best to bring meaning and joy and more people into the life of this congregation. Join us the first and third Tuesdays at Stuart Veterans Memorial Park downtown at noon for our brown bag lunch. That would be this Tuesday. We have a wonderful book club via Zoom. Members of the book club, raise your hand. So in case some of you want to chat with us about the club, we're here. We've selected 4 books for 2022. The first book will be Becoming Wise by Krista Triplett, who has a podcast called On Being. After we finish that, we will read and discuss Hidden Treasures by our own Linda Shuey. Let's see Linda here. Our third book will be The Midnight Library, a novel by Matt Haig. And then we will read the 1619 Project from the New York Times. See the newsletter for the link. It is 11 o'clock. I think we've got some wrong hours posted here and there. Join us Friday, Christmas Eve, here and on YouTube for songs, stories, and candlelight, 5 p.m. A big thanks to those who help us every week in getting our services running. A special thanks to Bud Sterling, who's always here to greet us, and Jackie for our music, our techies, Karina Poloni and Chris McGann, and also to Joanne Leone, who brings us water and cookies in the narthex. Tia Breeding, Judy Watt, Dave Gray, our ushers are appreciated as well. Then, of course, we must thank Ronnie and Fred Domowski for all the work they do behind the scenes. Now we'll do our chalice lighting. Spirit of love and life, allow us to know that our dreams will not always be fulfilled. Allow us to be open to what is before us. Allow us to be joyful even when the unexpected interferes. Allow the flame, sunrises, and sunsets to lighten ourselves. Thanks to our minister, Bob MacDonald, for lighting the chalice. We light a flame in our chalice to create a sacred space for worship. A flame within a chalice, a cup with a stem and foot, is the primary symbol of the Unitarian Universalist faith. Hans Deutsch, an Austrian artist, first brought together the chalice and the flame as a Unitarian symbol during his work with the Unitarian Service Committee during World War II. The image has connotations of sacrifice and love. Unitarian Universalists today have many different interpretations of the flaming chalice, including the light of reason, the warmth of community, and the flame of hope. Not all UUs use this beautiful double ring chalice. Very often a more traditional footed vessel is used. But like so many of our traditions, we must dig a bit deeper. The cup with a stem and foot appears in many cultures and religions to symbolize different things. Some forms of paganism suggest a cauldron or a cup is a symbol of the goddess, the womb. It also represents water, a female element, so the feminine qualities of intuition, psychic ability, and gestation. The Greeks and Romans put a chalice with a flame on their altars. For many Christians, the chalice is a symbol of the Eucharist. Using it commemorates the Last Supper. It is filled with wine to symbolize the blood of Christ. I must confess, personally, this grosses me out. I'll take the pagan version. During the Byzantine and Gothic periods in history, a person shown holding a chalice signified that they are God's servants and they have turned away from evil. That's better. For us, here at TCUUC, it is indeed the warmth of community. Now, let us hum or sing. Actually, we can sing through our Mass. Number 226, People Look East. Thank you again, Jackie. And I should mention that Karina can't see the screen she's projecting. So the unfamiliar hymn.
She's yelling at
She's yelling. She can? She said sorry. Okay, it is time for our affirmation. Let us first speak the first verse, and then we're going to sing the second. Love is a spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
Now is our time of sharing joys and sorrows, joys and concerns. We ask you to do this in the hope that as we know these things about each other, we can be supportive of each other and be more the community we want to be. We ask you to keep them brief and personal. I'll start off with a couple that Pam asked me to pass on to you. Martha Alfie can be visited in that rehab unit next to Martin South Hospital. It's open 8 to 8. You don't need a reservation. Martha, is she about 95, Pam? 92? Oh, don't tell her I said that. But anyhow, she's one of our seniors, and as you talk to her, her memory kicks in. So talk, listen, and let her memory kick in. Also, Pam wanted me to say that the Aging Council on Bayshore in Port St. Lucie is very grateful for our ministry of sharing puzzles with their seniors. Who else has a matter of joy or sorrow or concern to share? Please come to the mic, tell us who you are, and then move a stone for your matter of concern.
I actually do. You know, I'm Janet Grote, and our neighbor and dear friend, David Evans, is in intensive care in the hospital. He'd had cancer. We thought he overcame that, but now there's complications, and so I do move a stone for Dave.
Yes.
I'm Pat Burt. We just had an unfortunate event in our extended family. Our tiny little family, there's just 5 of us. My stepson, my husband's son, and daughter-in-law were to arrive tonight to help celebrate my husband's 87th birthday tomorrow, and then stay for several more days before heading to Miami to go on a Christmas cruise to help them through the second year without their beloved son. And my stepson Tim, contacted me yesterday that his mother, my husband's first wife, who's really a dear, sweet, lovely person and we consider a friend, who is near him in Auburn, Alabama, has now had to be hospitalized. Her advancing dementia plus her now physical complications will keep her from going back to her assisted living facility. And so the complicated process of getting her from hospital into first-time placement in a nursing home will take up all of their week. We won't see them. It may cause the cancellation of their cruise. And we're just very concerned for all of that little tiny nuclear family.
Anyone else?
Hi, I'm Judy Shaloni, and I know a lot of you know my sister Jill. And my joy is that she's coming back to Florida, her and Gary, in January. So she'll be coming here, I hope. Okay.
Good to hear. Anyone else?
I'm Ronnie Dembowski, and my cousin, not the one you know, Robin, her sister, husband has just been diagnosed with ALS. Is that what it is? And we're all heartbroken because, as everybody knows, it gets progressively worse and worse, and he already can't hold anything in his hands or eat by himself. So we're very distraught. Please think about it.
Sorry to hear that. Anyone else?
I got to visit my sister and brother-in-law and my nephew last weekend. First time I'd seen them in 2 years, so that was wonderful, and it was great seeing my sister. But the most wonderful thing was that my nephew, who had COVID briefly and then has long COVID, and is unable to do the strenuous exercise that he did. He hasn't lost a job or anything like that. Is doing much better mentally, and it was just wonderful to see him in a good place. It's a really rough thing, and so I was so pleased to see him doing well. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else? Well, we know there are always concerns and joys that we don't say out loud, so one is moved for those that we carry with us. This meditation I thought of as kind of a solstice meditation by Barbara Peskin, the back of our hymnal. May the glory of the passing away of autumn lie about us, fresh gold for a time. And when the dark comes and the cold, may we remember how today we stand in glory, how we walk in bounty, heaped upon earth's dark carpet, how we move knee-deep in abundance, flung against night's winter curtain. We are thankful for its coming and for its passing. Let it be. Barbara Peskin. In our moments of silence. And now, Spirit of Life, we hum and then we sing with masks in place. This is our time when we pass the plate. We could wait for Giving Tuesday, but then you wouldn't be here. Every Sunday is our opportunity to express our gratitude and to give, and that hope that those who are here in the future will know that people gave so they could be here. Please give generously. And now my ushers. But so far, I haven't gotten a response. Before the sermon, I think that's next in a moment, right? I just want to say one of the joys of any season in the UU congregation is receiving people into membership. And over the course of the past year and a half or so, a long winter of our discontent known as Zoom and COVID, and seemingly endless, these two guys, John Morn and Truman Dunn, found us, appeared on Zoom, then appeared in person, and stayed with us. So we're welcoming them officially into the membership of our congregation, and they will come forward and sign this book. They bring and have already brought many gifts with them. I said to Truman, maybe he and John would do a duet this morning, but Truman thought if he did that, you might want to vote on whether he was received or not. So the gifts they bring are well welcomed and needed. So guys, come on up and simply put your John Hancock on this membership book. Then I won't say anything more, embarrassing, whatever. Truman, I think you're first. Truman, you remember, is also active in the Winston-Salem UU, but he's promised to give us at least 6 months and a day. Thank you. Thank you both. You're most welcome. Christian churches come to the close of their Advent season. The countdown is 4 candles, 3 purple, 1 pink, and a white one in the middle. Purple, I learned, was both the color of royalty and the color of penitence. So Christians from medieval times approached the celebration of their king's birth with penitence, sorrow for their sinfulness. And I learned someone way back convinced the religion big on penitence and sorrow and sinfulness, you know, 1 Sunday in 4 should be happy and joyful. Let's not be dour and sour all season long. So we will light 1 pink candle. Pink represents joy. in Latin, gaudete. Let us be joyful, at least one in 4 Sundays. And that would be the 3rd Sunday of Advent last week. So the meanings of the 4 Sundays would be hope, love, joy, and peace, leading up to the lighting of the white candle on Christmas Eve. There is much about the Christian calendar I could never figure out. And one definite puzzle for me was that the first Sunday of Advent, representing hope, should be about hope in, hope for the second coming of Christ. Here was the start of the season to celebrate the birth of Jesus and what that might mean for us, but somehow we were to lift our eyes to the clouds. Not the cloud where we store our data or our photos, if you have figured that out. I haven't. But the clouds where the returning king was expected to come, which I gave up trying to figure out. You know, you can see movies all about this called the Left Behind series, very popular movies. I don't think you can get them on demand. I hope you can't. I was reminded of all this mystery and cloudiness this week with a very nice letter from the UUA. This is Reverend Lauren Smith, Stewardship and Development. Dear Robert, our family never observed Advent when I was growing up, apart from the occasional purchase of calendars filled with tiny, slightly stale chocolates. Somewhere along the way, however, Advent became one of my favorite parts of the holiday season. In a time of scurry and anticipation, I cherish the invitation to stillness and presence. I am grateful for the opportunity to celebrate the sweetest gifts of the season: hope, peace, joy, and love. This week, my daughter lit a pink candle representing joy. Joy in the spiritual sense runs deeper than happiness. It is a kind of grateful gladness, the humble remembrance of gifts received. I wish you joy today and in your year ahead. I wish for you experiences of kindness, generosity, and solidarity that meet you when you need them most, and the wisdom to recognize them as the blessings they are. Thank you for all the ways you have expressed your commitment, your courage, and your care this year. Because of all that you have given, the world is a better place. Bill, you might remember that for your stewardship letter next month. Because of all you have given, the world is a better place. Happy holidays to you and yours, the Reverend Lauren Smith. Okay, yes, and thank you, Lauren. So since this is from UUA Stewardship, this is about both encouragement to good cheer and to more good giving. It's nice to think, I really do want to think, because of all we have given, all we have believed in, all we have stood for, all we have been willing to die for, because of all that, the world is a better place. And if hope, love, joy, and peace aren't all around us, they are at least close on the horizon, within our grasp, surely with us enough not to give up. Then reality kicks in. The headline Friday morning: the unvaccinated face a winter of illness and death. And we face a winter of how can we avoid the unvaccinated. Hope, peace, joy, and love. So the dream and our reality seem worlds apart. But we really don't want to end up like a PBS comedy, you remember, Waiting for God. What are we to do? A number of you have told me that your family gatherings, like the bookends of this year-end holiday season, Thanksgiving, New Year's, have now become both tables spread with hope, love, joy, and peace, at least some of all that good connective tissue we call family, but now also calculations like never before. Will everyone there be safe to be around? Might there be guests who haven't been vaccinated? And how do we tell our nearest and dearest that feeling safe for ourselves and for them is a higher priority than we ever wanted it to be? It just is. So staying home and alone and safe has more appeal than ever before at families' gathering times. So 'tis the season to dream of a white Christmas, just like the ones you used to know. But to be honest, that dream is history. And maybe this should be the happiest time of the year. And religions do encourage us to delete or to at least pause our anxieties and fears and just think, savor hope, love, joy, and peace. How do we do that when we are in a nightmare? In a nightmare, all you have to do is wake up. But there seems to be no waking up from what we are in. When we wake up, if you're like me, you look for the headlines, and then you're in the nightmare again. The Advent story that ends at a manger scene, so familiarly portrayed in yard and card, that story is written with a chorus of adoration and the trappings of political danger. Someone wants that child to be the hope of the world, and somebody in power wants that child and hope quashed. The story has the scent of a new Moses, Pharaoh backdrop or motif. So again, believers hear a chorus of angels in the midst of another threatening chorus, threatening death. So maybe our situation, good things hoped for, bad things hovering, maybe that's the way it always was. But oh God, is that the way it will always be? So yes, I want to hear and feel hope, love, joy, and peace. But only by naming the dangers we face them and hope to mitigate them, not let them win. We have to be honest about them. This morning's headline: children of our country are in a mental health crisis. Maybe you knew that, but seeing it on the headline was not comforting. Or is our democracy going away for fear of votes of color? We've been told for decades that demographics in the US of A would be different by 2040 or 2050. Can white fear, grievance, fragility, supremacy undo what the founders and framers of the Constitution built and wanted to last? And yesterday's front page had a troubling report on Antarctica's ocean. It is warming from below and releasing carbon dioxide that had been captured and held. Now it's coming out and up and making climate change worse. And I have to really read a little bit of it to you. Warning from the Antarctic Deep. It is the world's climate engine and has kept the world from warming even more by drawing deep water from the Atlantic, Pacific, and Indian Oceans, much of which has been submerged for hundreds of years, and pulling it up to the surface. There, it exchanges heat and carbon dioxide with the atmosphere before being dispatched again on its eternal round trip. With this action, which scientists call upwelling, the world would be even hotter than it has become as a result of human-caused emissions of carbon dioxide and other heat-trapping gases. From no perspective is there any place more important than the Southern Ocean, says Joellen Russell, an oceanographer at the University of Arizona. There's nothing like it on planet Earth. For centuries, this ocean was largely unknown, its conditions so extreme that only a relative handful of sailors plied its iceberg-infested waters. What fragmentary scientific knowledge was available came from measurements taken by explorers, naval ships, the occasional research expeditions, or whaling vessels. But more recently, a new generation of floating autonomous probes that can collect temperature, density, and other data for years, diving deep underwater and even exploring beneath the Antarctic sea ice before rising to the surface to phone home, has enabled scientists to learn much more. They have discovered that global warming is affecting the Antarctic current in complex ways, and these shifts could complicate the ability to fight climate change in the future. This is a long report. I'll stop with that. But to me, this is like an e-card from Mother Nature. Gotcha. You're not going to win. You didn't come here to be depressed, so hopefully we are somehow going to learn from that. So, where am I? I mentioned in the Friday update that our current events Zoom will resume on the first Friday of January, 11 a.m. We will need one of our in-house science guys to explain this upwelling. I also mentioned that anyone with good news gets extra credit. This report on Antarctica won't be it. And to fill out our nightmarish, not most wonderful time, COVID has fielded a new player, a variant that isn't as deadly for the thrice jabbed, but much more contagious. What are good faithful UUs to do rather than huddling in a bunker until the end? We want to nurture each other, help each other, and push each other so that when we leave, if we can't say we left the world a better place and feel good about it, we can at least say we tried. We definitely tried, and feel good about that. We have bedrock principles that won't let us give up or give in. We need the promise of holiday joy and hope and love and peace. It just has to ring true and real and not just for ourselves. There is too much suffering and work that we can do. The closing hymn is 231. Angels we have heard on high. 3 verses. The closing words will be this mission statement from William Schultz as Janet extinguishes. This is the mission of our faith, to teach the fragile art of hospitality, to revere both the critical mind and the generous heart, to prove that diversity need not mean divisiveness, and to witness to all that we must hold the whole world in our hands. William Schultz.
Since I'm a bit depressed from the headlines, we are now going to listen to Rejoice, La Réjouissance by Handel, George Frederick Handel.
Jackie tells me that she had a house guest that recorded some things with her this way. So, if she invites you to come and stay for a while, she has an ulterior motive. Let's all gather now for some fellowship and